Welcome back to Military Base, the channel where we break down global conflicts, military power, and strategic realities shaping today's world. In Southeast Asia, a region often associated with rapid economic growth and cultural richness, an old and dangerous fault line is once again threatening regional stability. Along the long-disputed border between Thailand and Cambodia, tensions have reignited, pushing two neighboring nations back toward open confrontation. What makes this latest escalation especially concerning is not just the return of violence, but the deep imbalance in military power between the two countries, an imbalance that could shape the outcome of any prolonged conflict. Tonight, we take an in-depth look at how this crisis unfolded, why a recent ceasefire collapsed, and what the military balance tells us about the risks ahead. The Thailand-Cambodia border dispute is not new. For decades, competing territorial claims, often centered around historic sites and poorly demarcated border zones, have fueled diplomatic standoffs and sporadic clashes. In recent months, tensions appeared to ease following a ceasefire that was publicly promoted by former U.S. President Donald Trump, who portrayed the agreement as a step toward long-term stability. However, behind the scenes, distrust remained high. Both Bangkok and Phnom Penh accused each other of violating the ceasefire, and the agreement quickly proved fragile. What was meant to de-escalate the situation instead became a brief pause before renewed hostilities. On Monday, the fragile calm shattered. Thailand launched airstrikes along the disputed border, marking a significant escalation in the conflict. These operations occurred less than 2 months after the ceasefire was announced, signaling a complete breakdown in diplomatic restraint. The fighting has had immediate consequences for civilians. Tens of thousands of people were forced to flee their homes, seeking safety from artillery fire and aerial bombardment. Entire communities were displaced almost overnight, highlighting the human cost of geopolitical disputes. As the conflict intensified, attention quickly turned to one critical question. How do the militaries of Thailand and Cambodia actually compare? According to the 2025 Global Firepower Index, the difference is stark. Thailand's armed forces are ranked 25th strongest in the world, placing the country among the most capable militaries in Asia. Cambodia, by contrast, is ranked 95th, reflecting a far more limited force structure. In terms of manpower alone, Cambodia's military numbers less than half that of Thailand's. But numbers tell only part of the story. Larger and more professional armed forces, a significantly higher defense budget, modern air power and advanced strike capabilities, better logistics, command structures, and training systems. Cambodia, meanwhile, relies heavily on older equipment and has limited air defense and air force capabilities, factors that become critical when facing airstrikes. Security analysts have been quick to point out that this is not a balanced confrontation. Speaking to Newsweek, Anuja Chitranch, senior security analyst for Southeast Asia at International SOS, emphasized that Thailand's military is not only larger, but far more advanced and better funded. Thailand's ability to conduct coordinated air and ground operations gives it a decisive edge. Its air force, in particular, allows Bangkok to project power quickly across the border, something Cambodia struggles to counter effectively. This technological and financial gap means that any sustained conflict would place Cambodia at a severe disadvantage, especially if Thailand chooses to expand its operations. The imbalance raises serious regional concerns. A stronger military does not automatically guarantee political success, but it does shape the battlefield. Thailand's superiority could pressure Cambodia into concessions, while also increasing the risk of miscalculation. At the same time, international actors are watching closely. A prolonged conflict could destabilize trade routes, disrupt regional cooperation, and draw in external diplomatic pressure from ASEAN and beyond. The failure of the recent ceasefire also underscores a broader lesson. Ceasefires without enforcement mechanisms are fragile, especially when underlying disputes remain unresolved. As of now, both sides continue to trade accusations, and the possibility of further escalation remains real. The key question is whether diplomacy can regain momentum, or whether military logic will continue to dominate decision-making along the border. For civilians caught in the middle, the answer cannot come too soon. This situation is a reminder that military power, history, and politics are deeply intertwined, and when diplomacy fails, the consequences are immediate and human. Here at Military Base, we are committed to bringing you clear, in-depth analysis of conflicts like this, without hype, without bias, and without missing the bigger picture. If you want more deep military breakdowns, global conflict analysis, and strategic insights, make sure to subscribe to Military Base. Turn on notifications so you never miss an update. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next briefing, only on Military Base.